Welcome back. Last night was an incredible one for the Cougs, absolutely demolishing Arizona 69-28 with Gardner Minshew setting a WSU record for the number of touchdowns he threw in a single game. It was 7 to be exact. But folks, today is a new day, and that means it's time to delve into one thing. The Apple Cup. This has got to be one of the most important Apple Cups to ever be played, with Pac-12 North titles on the line for both squads, and thus a trip to the Rose Bowl on the line as well. So today we're going to break down this matchup. Let's start with both schools' offenses. WSU's definitely towers above UW's. They both come in similarly in terms of yards per game. The Cougs are averaging 482 compared to the Huskies 455, but to be frank, WSU does a whole lot more with that extra 67 yards they get. The Cougs are averaging over 12 more points a game than Washington. There is a pretty glaring reason as to why the Cougs are getting more bang for their buck. Here's why. Red zone percentage. The Cougs are only second to Utah in the red zone percentage in the Pac-12. Utah comes in at 90%, while the Cougs come in at 88%. Washington is 10th in the conference in red zone percentage at 80%. Just to by the by, Washington ranks 100th in the country in this category out of 129 teams. Here's where things get even more sticky for the Huskies, though. When they score in the red zone, only 56% of the time it's a touchdown. That is really and truly not good. Washington State, on the other hand, leads the Pac-12 in scoring touchdowns in the red zone. They do so 77% of the time. It's a pretty obvious thing to say, but in this game, it really is going to matter. If the Cougs score touchdowns instead of field goals, they are going to be in a good spot against the Huskies. We've taken a look at the offensive situation, so now let's go to the other side of the coin and look at defense. This is where the Huskies really shine. The squad has only allowed 16.6 points per game. That's tops in the Pac-12. They also come in at second in the conference in both rushing yards allowed per game at 125 and second in the conference in passing yards allowed per game at 193. That is well below Washington State's average passing yards per contest, but we're going to get into that in a bit. Another thing you have to note with this Husky defense, they are really disciplined. The majority of penalties come on defense for a team, while the Huskies as a team are averaging a conference low 4.8 penalties per contest. This squad is not going to beat itself. The Cougs defense, on the other hand, allows 22.6 points per contest, but they do lead the conference by far and away in sacks at 34. Being able to rattle Jake Browning is going to be key. And so, I hate to be Captain Obvious here, but the outcome of this game comes down to this. Can WSU's offense overcome UW's defense? As I said earlier, Washington is averaging 16.6 points per game allowed on defense. The Cougs are scoring 40.5 points per game. Washington only allowing 192 pass yards per game. The Cougs averaging 400 passing yards per contest. Let's be frank, we can boil it down to even simpler terms than what I just said. Will Washington be able to contain Gardner Minshew? If they can, this game is over. And yes, I know, I sound super obvious saying that, but the stats truly do back that claim up and make it even more clear. The Cougs are the best offense the Huskies have seen this season, and the Huskies are the best defense the Cougs have seen this season.